Hey everyone, welcome to this weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast for the week of May 30th through June 5th of 2022. Alright, so this week, a bit of a quiet week astrologically, but a very important week in the sense that we are ending the current lunar month as we approach Monday. We have a new moon on Monday in Sidereal Taurus, and so it is a new beginning this week, but it will take some time to build. These first few days are good for just slowly building some momentum in this lunar cycle, maybe setting some intentions, and with Taurus the bull, maybe taking things slowly and steadily this new lunar cycle. No major aspects with the new moon, some sextiles, but also around Monday, Venus will be changing sign, going into more active Aries. So coming out of the waters a bit, even though we still have Mars there, so it is still good for a bit of that receptive action, but Venus going into Aries could be enjoying maybe a bit of action in general, a bit of activity, more athletic, maybe more direct, in those relationships quite direct as well can be a great way of connecting. Then we have a bit of a space there with no aspects until about Friday, in which Mercury will go direct, so important. Mercury will be going station direct here around Friday, and this is really starting to move things forward that maybe have been on the back burner these past few weeks. Maybe we've been considering these past few weeks during the retrograde, but starting to slowly go into next week. Notice more of that momentum, especially with the routines and day-to-day stuff moving forward. All right, and then lastly, on Saturday, Saturn will go retrograde. We usually don't feel this one that personally since it's an outer planet, but maybe over the weekend starting to shift perspectives a little bit in regards to whatever we've been working hard on this year or having to be patient with this year. Maybe a bit of a break with that for about the next 5 months. Maybe, again, a new perspective on that stuff. And maybe reworking some of those things during the 5-month retrograde coming up. All right, so let's go and take a look at all this here in more detail when we return. Alrighty, so here's the sky for this week. We're going to look at this for each day of the week, starting first with Monday, May 30th. And as you can see here, we are using the visible sky on this channel, which is very different from mainstream astrology. And so you will notice a lot of the signs are different. A great example, as I said, the new moon is in Taurus. But if you're coming from the mainstream version, you probably have heard that the new moon's in Gemini, and so the signs do change in the system because we're using the actual sky. So if you are new, definitely check out that link down below for more information on true sidereal astrology. All right, so new moon, new beginnings. This is as we approach Monday, and even around Monday, it's good to end and complete the previous lunar cycle, which was quite transformative, quite important lunar cycle there because it was an eclipse cycle. But nonetheless, completing, clearing, releasing, creating some space. But the majority of this week from Monday onwards, we'll be slowly building this momentum in this brand new lunar cycle. Not a whole lot of major aspects with it. I will, of course, make a separate video on this, but some sextiles to the Mars-Jupiter conjunction that we had over the last weekend. So there is, this, first of all, new beginning with our more grounded side, Taurus the bull. And so it is a great time to set intentions with how we can cultivate our inner and outer resources in life. Inner like self-worth, self-value, external things perhaps like connecting to the natural world or having more abundance in our life, right? This Taurus the bull energy is great to develop and will likely develop in the next 30 days collectively. Now the sextile to Mars and Jupiter just gives a little bit of that fire energy, but those fire planets are in the water sign of Pisces. So if you felt over the weekend maybe a little bit of boost of motivation or inspiration, but at the same time having to feel like having to go with the flow about it or having to trust more about it or let go of what's outside of your control, this can be very supportive actually, at least an opening there with the new moon. But again, I'll make a new video on that. The important thing about this week is the brand new lunar cycle slowly developing. Now what we also have on that Monday time period is that Venus will be changing sign. So Venus has been in watery Pisces, and so it has been a time of connecting in a more receptive way to life. So enjoying perhaps more of the space or tranquility or alone time or peaceful energy in those relationships. It's been a great time of compassion, receptivity, and even maybe doing those things in our relationships that are more receptive. But Venus, and it is still, of course, good to do that, again, with the Mars here. Mars is mostly how we take action. So it is good to still be taking action in that receptive way, listening, putting energy in the current, where the flow of the current is, the current of life, the ocean of life, versus swimming against the current. It's great right now. But Venus is, shifting into Aries, active Aries. Aries is all about taking initiative. And it is coming out of the last constellation of the zodiac into the first one, which is very much those initiating things. So we could be enjoying these initiating things this week. It could also be quite literally things that are more active in nature. And in those relationships, connecting in that more direct, assertive, and independent way. And maybe joining up with others to do these kinds of things that are more active or require initiative in some way with Venus in Aries. All right, so that's the Monday time period, slowly building momentum. As we do get to Tuesday, the moon will still be in Taurus, again emphasizing that steady energy, that resourceful energy, that earth energy will be developing this lunar month. And then as we get to the new Gregorian month of May here, May 1st, the moon will shift into Gemini for both Wednesday and Thursday. And so this middle part of the week, while we build momentum, Wednesday, Thursday, good for learning, using our mind, maybe exchanging with others a bit. Gemini can be a great time of trade, of exchanging, of learning, and just being flexible, being willing to learn. And this is, of course, important anyways because Mercury is still retrograde this early part of the week. And so it is good to be curious, interested in learning right now anyways during this retrograde. But Mercury is going direct here on Friday after that transit of Gemini. And so Mercury now moving forward suggests that the past 3 weeks of anything we've been reflecting on during the retrograde, anything we've had to put on the back burner or have been approaching differently, right, or even learning or having to redo, this stuff likely completes collectively, and the energy starts to move forward slowly. Now, do, of course, give it time. It takes even Mercury a while to gain momentum. So, maybe late weekend or into next week, we'll notice probably more of that forward movement. But Friday, good to just kind of pause, allow for the shift of energy, the shift of perspective, really, since Mercury rules our mind, in our day-to-day life. Right? Maybe pause with some of those routines as well, perhaps, or just, approach a little, just take a step back if it's required. And then, again, completing anything that has been more on the reworking process. And then slowly, into next week, we'll notice more forward movement in regards to anything that you have been rethinking these past few weeks, have been approaching differently, or have been redoing. We should notice that more forward movement there. But the most important takeaway here is that Friday is just good to kind of pause with those activities or the routines a little bit as things are shifting during the direct or the station period here. The station period here around Friday. And then the Mercury does get, the Mercury in general gets very close to the Neptune and sextile Neptune and square to Saturn. It's not going to go exact. It's not going to exactly contact it. But some things about this could be that with the Saturn, it's good to be a bit patient with any mental activities. Maybe a bit of a reminder of that. It's good to be patient with those routines or new things we're thinking about or doing on that day-to-day. Saturn tends to remind us of the long-term view. So a little bit of that responsibility there, a little bit of patience, a little bit of perseverance as well, perhaps. But thinking long-term in regards to things is good. And the sextile to Neptune, just a bit of an opening here for a little more receptivity with the mind, maybe a bit of an imaginative mind perhaps, or intuitive mind during the station, just slightly available there. All right, so that's the Mercury going direct. And here on Friday, the moon will be shifting into Cancer. So Friday and Saturday, great for a bit of protective energy, creating a safe and protective environment for ourselves and others. So a good time, usually, for maybe spending time at home or with family or those we would consider family, or just getting more in touch with our again, nurturing side for ourselves and others. Good to do that. And as I said, not felt personally, usually, unless you're ruled by Saturn, unless you have Capricorn or even Aquarius rising, or even if your Sun or Moon are in Capricorn or Aquarius. In that case, you might be feeling these Saturn retrogrades, in fact, but generally and collectively speaking, this tends to be a little bit more kind of in the ethers, let's say, not felt as strongly. But anyway, Saturn going retrograde is good to pause with this stuff around the weekend. Saturn is the stuff that, again, takes patience and discipline, right? So it rules the things we've been building this year. Saturn really is a yearly energy. So things we've been building, things we've had to be patient with, the things we've maybe been assuming responsibility with this year. All right. And since Saturn is in Capricorn, you can always, of course, check to see where Capricorn is in your chart to see what are these things specifically for you that are getting redone or reworked during this retrograde. But and you can check that out at the website, masteringthezodiac.com. But fundamentally, all these structures, all these things we're building are things we're just having to be patient with, work on this year, go through a reflective process. So perhaps the next 5 months could be a little bit of a break with some of these things, maybe a bit of a step back. But most importantly, again, as it's always good during retrogrades, to approach it differently, right? Approach it differently, experiment. Retrogrades are great times to experiment, to do things, to learn new things. Yes, we'll make mistakes during the retrograde. Yes, we'll probably have to redo some things, but that we learn so much during the retrogrades. And we can actually get a lot done during retrogrades, actually. So Saturn's all the things we want to accomplish or do that will take time. And those things could be great to approach differently and kind of restructure a little bit. All right, so that's the Saturn. And then lastly for the week, the moon will be in Leo on Sunday. And so a bit of a perhaps playful or expressive Sunday could be good. Anything that's about personal self-expression, connecting to the things and people that we love is a great way of working with Sunday. And this is where we're really over the weekend really starting to notice more of that momentum with this lunar cycle. But of course, it's still early, which is the early part of the week. Very low energy, the lowest energy of the lunar cycle. And of course, slowly building it, as we go through this week here. All right, but that is the most important thing, is the reset of the lunar cycle here around Monday. New beginnings with Taurus the bull, our development of our inner and outer resources in life. And then, of course, the other very important thing is Mercury going direct, pausing with some of these things that are mental, communicative, maybe even deal with correspondence. Pausing with it, noticing some shifts of perspective, and then implementation and more forward movement, actually, now that Mercury is direct in general. And then, over this weekend, but mostly into next week, seeing if there are some things we can approach differently with those long-term views. All right, so everyone have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click the like button if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're not yet signed up for MTZ Insiders, it is a free newsletter where you do get these videos released first before YouTube and extra content not normally released on YouTube. So if you're not yet signed up, definitely do so down below. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you again for all of your support, and I'll see you all next time for the next Astrology Forecast. Take care.